Hi guys, today we're out test driving the new 2023 GV60 Genesis. It's all electric mini SUV, and so here, and of course when I go out, one of my good friends, he's an automotive journalist specializing in, I guess, green cars, and so I brought it by to ask him a little bit about the car that I'm driving today, so learn a little bit more about it and also inform you about it as well. So here he is, Eric Novak.
Hey.
How are you doing, Eric?
Good. It's actually a white green car. There you go. How about that?
Well, that's just too confusing.
I know, right? Yeah.
So Eric's you're a green car guy. So I brought this out to you. He did this review, which I'll put in the description, a link to his. He did this about 8 months ago, I think.
Yeah, in better weather. Lots of beautiful blue skies, and late summer last year, I think I reviewed it.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about this car, because you know a little bit more than I do.
Yeah, so the Genesis GV60 is actually the first Genesis model designed exclusively to be electric. There are other Genesis EVs on the market. You've got your G80, the electrified G80. You've got a GV70 now that's electrified, but those were electrified variants of an existing ICE. This is built straight up only as an EV. There's actually a new platform that's built by Hyundai, which is Hyundai Kia Genesis, the EGMP platform. So the platform that this is riding on is the same platform as the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. So it's, there's a universality to it, which is effective. But it's great. It's an awesome EV. Sort of that mid-compact in size. Just fast, great. What's the battery size? It's 77.4 kilowatt battery, and it's offered in different trims. You've got your single motor and your dual motor. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's not single and dual motor. You've got two dual motor systems. The difference is, though, with the two different trims, with sort of the lower end trim, the lower output, you have a smaller motor on the back and a larger motor up front, but they double up the size. And so on the performance, I think you'll have to do in the overlay because it's been a while since I remember the size, but I know it's a larger, it's a dual large size electric motor front and back, which gives it ultimate power, and it's a powerful vehicle. And when we go inside too, there's a really cool feature that others don't have. It's a little button on the steering wheel that really is cool called the boost.
Yeah, we're going to show you that. And I tried that getting on the thing just to pass.
Yeah. No, it's a great deal. You're right. I drive EVs all the time. I review them all the time. This still, to this day, it's in my top 2 or 3 favorite EVs right now.
Yeah, and it's stylish.
Yeah.
It's really stylish. Now, the price list on the spec sheet they gave me, do you remember what the approximate price of this is? Because this is the premium model with the 2 battery packs, or 2 motors, I guess they call it. This is the higher end.
Off the top of my head, obviously it's there on the sheet. You can put it up in the text. But there's one that I can't remember pricing, but I can tell you something about the design. This is one of the first applications where, here on the front, Genesis is like a little clamshell hood. You can have the seats. The signature, of course, the Genesis dual LED headlights. The headlights, the LED, it's the signature style. But the clamshell hood is really kind of unique. And of course, it's an EV, right? You've got more creative license with the front intake. There is a grille for aesthetics, but it's not necessary given that, battery electrics don't need that. But an aerodynamic design cuts through the lid. That's always important too with electrics. You want aerodynamics. The less drag, the less resistance, the more energy could be applied to driving and not resisting the wind. So anytime you want to see if something is good, remember the most aerodynamic shape in the universe is a raindrop, which we're getting a lot of, teardrops. And anything measured against it there's a measure called coefficient of drag. And so anything with a low coefficient, lower to 0, would be compared against the teardrop. And as you can see, that shape means the wind cuts around it with less resistance. And it's great. It means it goes fast.
All right, well, let's go inside and check this car out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the inside, guys, of the GV60. And I got Eric in the driver's seat. Yeah. Don't kill us.
Let's stop for a second. Let's do it again.
Okay, so we're still on the inside.
Yeah, we're inside. Here we are. And let's go for a ride here.
So this car, guys, is huge screen.
Yeah, you see it's more common now in Hyundais, Kias, this sort of dual 12.3 inch. So you've got your instrumentation cluster here and your central navigation. This is a little bit of a hybrid. I mean, what's good about the GV60, of course, is there still are tactile controls. In a lot of luxury vehicles nowadays, we're getting to like touch screens galore. Mercedes in the EQ series, it's all about, touch instead of tactile. And I mean, they have some features in their MBUX system that's smart, but I still like to know and touch. But it's still great visibility. You've got customizable your information cluster here, so you can set it to different things. And of course, depending on drive mode, it'll also change the visuals, so you know kind of what you're in. Like, I assume, you have it in eco mode right now.
Yes.
I took it in, so if you want to adjust the mode, you'll see how it changes going. So I move into comfort mode and the screen changes, and of course in sport mode it will change as well. So you kind of, even if you forget what mode you're in, just by the visuals you can tell. And then back to eco. Each mode, of course, gives you a different feel and results. Eco mode is really about extending the energy efficiency, so you'll get dialed back on throttle response, and some of the other features won't have as immediate response. Your comfort is basically what you'd say your your normal mode. And then sport is when more energy is driven towards the powertrain. It's more responsive, immediate, and you feel the better thrust.
Yeah, Eric and I were talking about. He was talking about there's this really cool button here.
That's
this
right.
Is when I got on the, it's called Boost, and this is when I was getting on. I was following behind a driver getting on the highway and get around him, and there was a truck coming on me, so I just pushed Boost, and it just took off.
Yeah, and so what happens? It's a really cool feature. I mean, for those times, like, there's already sufficient power. There's over 400 horsepower. I can't remember what the exact number is off the top of my head right now as is, but when you hit the boost button, what happens is for 15 seconds you get an increase in output. I think it goes up to 483 horsepower for that 15 seconds. So if you just need to really get somewhere quicker, like to pass somebody, and you're quicker, you press the boost. Now, I mean, you don't want to do that all the time, because you're going to take more energy from the battery and you're going to reduce your range. Like, if you're on a long drive, you might want to have fun and press boost once and again, but every time you do it, you're kind of reducing. That's just like, if you floored it on a gas engine, the more times you gun it, right, the more gas that goes into the combustion chambers, and the less you have. But it's a cool little feature. We should all have a little boost button now and again, right?
Absolutely. And I used it once, and it was like good experience, which was really cool. But when I filled it up to 100%, filled the battery, it had a 355 kilometer range. So that was great.
Yeah, well, no, there's more than that. Depending upon this is also spring, so depending on your driving style as well. Again, I haven't reviewed this in a while, so I forget off the top what the posted range is, but you could probably put that on if you look on the spec sheets. On the lower versions, you could get close to 500 kilometers of range, which is
wow,
which is certainly decent enough. That's like 260 miles or so for those who prefer that. I'm also feeling it right now. One of the features about electric vehicles, braking, of course, is when you brake and you put the calipers onto the brake pads, you create kinetic energy. And that's right. Well, that kinetic energy is energy that's lost in a gas vehicle. But with electrics, you can take that kinetic energy and recapture it and put it back into the battery. So the actual, for efficiency's sake, in electric vehicles, stop and go city driving is actually way better than, say, highway driving. Whereas in a gas vehicle, you like highway driving because of the consistency. I mean, you're not having to put a heavy vehicle in motion using combustion. Whereas the benefit of being in stop and go is you can regeneratively recapture energy through the braking system. And with vehicles like this, these paddle shifters, which are normally for gear shifting in gas vehicles, can increase or decrease the amount of regenerative braking that you feel. So you can bring it down, and I think you got your level 2 here. So you go to level 1, you can see down, and actually got it right to okay, so right here I'm gonna go down here. I can go to 0, where there's basically no regenerative at all. So you'd be pure coasting. You can go all the way up to 4, which is basically At level 4, it's essentially a one pedal kind of driving situation where the regenerative braking is so hard, you don't need the brake pedal. So when you get off the gas, you'll feel the pull. I can't remember if this comes to a full stop or not on full regen. Fortunately, that type of braking, the brake pedal does go on when you put your foot off the accelerator instead of having to touch the brake. The challenge about driving this way is you always have to put pressure on your accelerator. So, you know, that's great if you're on a road where there's twists and turns. You need to, you know, control your speed and you know, brake a bit and go up a bit. That's fine. But if you're just driving straight for long periods of time, I don't like heavy regen straight because, again, my foot can be fatigued. So the beauty of being able to adjust is I just feel, you know, what's a comfortable level. And you become comfortable within your own sort of time range. What do you like? Do you prefer light? Do you prefer heavy? I tend to like a 1 to 2 for most things. But, you know, in the right kind of situations and I want one pedal, I can go all the way up to max.
Wow. Which one was it on before you changed it when I drove it?
You had it on 2, I believe.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I have it on 1, so I've taken my foot off and I can coast still. There is some regen you could see by the charge, but you're still allowed to coast. I mean, if I put it on 2 and I release, you'll still do some coasting, but you'll feel the deceleration quicker than usual.
And how did you switch that?
Right here, the paddle shifters.
Oh, the paddle shifters.
Yeah,
Oh, see, that's something. Yeah, see, I didn't know that.
So you got to pop down. So you can see here on the meter, I'm at 0, and I go up to 1 or 2 or 3, you know, all the way to max.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I did see
There's
that
an
before.
indicator, yeah.
Okay.
So you were at 2, 1, there you go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So that's good. See, because Eric's had this vehicle when he got it 8 months ago for a week, and this is only my second day.
Yeah, that's the thing with vehicles. I mean, I've been doing this for, a dozen years or so. So every week it's like, okay, pre-program on a Monday your head. And, you know, fortunately, depending on the manufacturer, the family of manufacturers, there's a little bit of consistency in design. So, okay, I'm in this family of vehicles. I generally remember this is here and that's there. But, you know,
Yeah,
it still takes a bit of familiarization. I mean, and our observations that way are, I mean, we complain about maybe some of the ergonomics. And yes, of course, if you own this over time, you would clearly become accustomed to it. For us, we have to remember it quickly and dispose of our memory within a week. But, I mean, it does sort of show the learning curve, I guess, a bit.
Yeah, but some things, common sense, you know, we can figure it out. But, of course, if you buy the vehicle, the salesperson will run you through all the basic things. But within a day, you could probably learn everything.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a gorgeous vehicle overall. At night, too, you've got interior ambient lighting, which can create a different vibe. The sound system here, you got your Bang & Olufsen premium sound system.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's something about it that's great. There are internal sounds as well that you can create because some people don't like the silent nature of EVs. They still miss the roar of an internal combustion monster. And you can still do that here, but, you know, it's an option. And on the outside, too, of course, by law, electric vehicles do have to have some sort of audible sound emanating at low speeds.
Oh.
And that's part of
the hum.
Yeah, because people, you know, if they can't hear you coming,
They might walk in front of you.
They might walk in front, yeah, but they hear a little bit going on.
I'll tell you, finally, everybody's always had those earbuds and they can't hear you anyways. Sometimes people in their cars can't even hear emergency vehicles.
I have no idea why that's legal. There should be nothing in your ears when you're driving. You just shouldn't, because you need to hear what's going around.
Yeah.
You need to hear emergency vehicles. You need to hear other things. It boggles my mind why that's allowed.
Even if it's one ear, but in one ear.
But
like
why?
if you're on a call like a Bluetooth, maybe that's
why
it.
you have hands-free and the speakers and stuff like that.
And this does connect with your phone as well.
They all do nowadays. I mean, it's ridiculous to even think that you have to have something in your ears. It's just so, just don't. It's dumb.
There you go. Such a beautiful looking vehicle. Mm-hmm. Like, everything's really cool. I just think it's beautiful looking.
Oh, yeah. It's a fun.
And I just got to figure out how much it is. But like I said before, guys, in the description, Eric did a full review on this car as well. So I'll put that link in the description. So go over, watch that, and support Eric.
Yeah, thanks. The Novak Report is my channel. And I remember, I think when I did review it, I did do a launch test where I pressed the boost and I recorded the flying in reaction. So you'll get to see what it's like in good weather.
I think Eric always likes to rename it. So I renamed that the Yahoo button.
Yahoo!
So it's all good. Eric.
Or we can name it. You want some of this? You want some of this? I give you some of this. These are my buttons. I got lots of buttons. Here we go, the buttons again.
I think it's fantastic. No, but I really appreciate your time, Eric. It's always fun. And yeah, subscribe to Eric, the Novak Report. I'll obviously go to his video, just subscribe there. And you guys, he's doing a review now on a Kia EV6 GT.
The Kia EV6 GT, doing a bit of a road trip, sort of seeing how far, what you can see on a road trip with a single charge. So imagine if you have an EV, you start from your home where you're at and a full charge, and then you just drive in your community and discover things that you might not know exist while you expel your charge, get back home when you're next to zero, and call it sort of a discovery tour. And also, in a week, going to be heading to San Diego, where I'm going to get a bit of a larger drive in the new VinFast VF8.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I spent 20 minutes when I went to Vietnam last September. I think we get a couple hours driving in it, so that will be online in probably the next 2-3 weeks as well.
There you go. Thank you, Eric, for all your time.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you the next time.
Toodles.